Aliens. They're everywhere, and not just inside you right now. Ridley Scott's 1979 outer space horror masterpiece Alien was a massive hit at the box office, but it wasn't until 1986 and James Cameron's action sequel Aliens that the creepy world of xenomorphs and no-good dirty androids became a true franchise. And in the wake of the second film's success, Aliens stories started popping up everywhere. Comic books, video games, regular books, toys marketed for kids based on R-rated movies, and of course, many sequels, each exploring the fate of Ellen Ripley and the truth behind the xenomorph. In total, there have been 6 Alien films and 2 stinky Alien vs. Predator spin-off movies. But there could have been way more if every potential sequel or prequel was given the green light by 20th Century Fox. Like any lucrative franchise, and like we've previously explored with the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street films, there were many possible Alien movies that never made it in front of the camera. And if any of these movies were made, the Alien franchise as we know it may be completely different. Some of these may make you mad knowing they were never made. Others may actually make you thankful for Prometheus. So let's take a trip through the history of the many unmade Alien sequels. Just for fun, because why not, let's talk about Dan O'Bannon's original screenplay before rewrites turned it into the Alien you know and love. The script that would become Alien was written by O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett in 1976 as Starbeast, and while the shape of the story is very similar to the film we eventually got, there are notable differences. For example, the xenomorph eggs aren't in the derelict spaceship, but instead are in a nearby pyramid. The characters are all different. There's no Ripley, and the alien creature was more like a razor-sharp octopus. When the script was around 85% complete, O'Bannon and Shusett began shopping it around to studios, with Brandywine purchasing it and soon rewriting the film due to dissatisfaction with its quality. The rewrite created major tension between the creators, but its updated version is what drew 20th Century Fox, Ridley Scott, and H.R. Giger to the project. Their input is what resulted in the finalized Alien that was made, and the rest is history. If you're interested in O'Bannon and Shusett's story, it was recently published in Dark Horse Comics' Alien, the original screenplay. And as a quick side note, Alien almost ended with the xenomorph biting off Ripley's head and speaking in her voice to attract more victims to the spaceship. After the success of James Cameron's Aliens, Fox wanted to move forward with a third entry, and their struggles to settle on a script that satisfied them led to a host of alternative Alien 3s that were never made. First up is a script by acclaimed sci-fi novelist William Gibson from 1987. Gibson's script stars Colonial Marine Hicks and Android Bishop, with Newt sent away on a spaceship and Ripley in a coma due to her cryopod being damaged. Narrative devices to work around Newt's actress getting older, and Sigourney Weaver being disinterested in returning to the franchise, which wouldn't be the last time. Soon, an alien infestation in the space station Anchor Point breaks out in the midst of an ongoing intergalactic Cold War, but instead of the classic egg, facehugger, chestburster combo, the xenomorphs are spread by an airborne contagion, turning humans into creatures from the inside out and shedding its human flesh. Eventually, Hicks and Bishop destroy the space station and end the alien threat. Gibson would go on to write a second draft for Fox in 1988, greatly reducing the amount of action present in his first script, with fewer characters, fewer xenomorphs, and a darker tone. But Fox would pass on both versions of Gibson's script, which was recently turned into the Dark Horse comic book Alien 3: The Unproduced Screenplay, and then an audio drama. Next comes Eric Red's draft of Alien 3 in 1989, which completely ditches any effort to continue the story of the previous 2 movies. Instead, it stars Sam Smith. Yes, that's Sam Smith, a soldier whose team finds the shredded bits of meat that were once Ripley, Hicks, and Newt. Fun! On board the Sulaco and alien eggs. But a xenomorph attack turns Sam into an amnesiac cyborg, and now he must uncover the truth behind the xenomorphs being weaponized in a glass dome space station. Surprise, surprise, the aliens break out and wreak havoc at the station, which is home to both military and civilians. Now, Robo-Sam must save his family from a horde of different types of xenomorphs, including a human hybrid that was his dad, a xeno-chicken, spaceships that can be infected and come alive like this is a Freddy Krueger nightmare, and a big old creature made out of dozens of xenomorphs, a real beast with 20 backs. This thing is wild, more gruesome than a slasher at the height of the 80s, and disowned by Red as, quote, a piece of junk. Fox passed immediately. Next was David Twohy's Alien 3 script from 1989, which takes place in a prison space station operated by Weyland-Yutani, which uses death row inmates for mining and xenomorph experimentation. The film follows new inmate Styles, who tries to survive the company's experiments and a xenomorph on the loose while trapped in the colony. Soon, lab-grown xenomorphs without a hive mentality are being fought. The prison is destroyed by a spaceship crash, and there's another evil android. Each xenomorph encountered in the story is engineered from a facehugger trapped in amber, Jurassic Park style, and has a different ability, like the rogue alien's ability to morph and squeeze through small spaces, or the new breed's acid-secreting skin. With no connection to previous movies, Twohy eventually wrote a new draft when Weaver expressed the possibility of returning, but Fox eventually passed on this version. However, its prison setting would inform the eventual finalized Alien 3, unlike the other versions so far. Now we arrive at Vincent Ward and John Fasano's 1990 script, which took elements of Twohy's prison setting and morphed them into a wooden monastery planet. It's here where Ripley's escape pod crashes, with Newt, Hicks, and Bishop all killed by a xenomorph infestation on the Sulaco. The monks of the wooden Arceon rescue Ripley, but their rejection of all technology leaves them vulnerable to the escaped xenomorph, which they believe to be the devil, and hold Ripley responsible for bringing it to them. Revelations include the planet being powered by windmills and therefore essentially a death trap, one of the monks being an android and essentially the walking embodiment of heresy to the monks, a camouflaging xenomorph that can directly implant eggs into victims, and a new headburster alien for extra gore. Like the eventual Alien 3, Ripley realizes that she too is carrying a chestburster, but instead of dying, surviving monk Brother John performs a makeshift exorcism on the xenomorph, which jumps out of Ripley's mouth and down his throat. Now with a death sentence, John walks into the fiery inferno of the planet to die, and Ripley leaves once again, now with a dog. This script was rejected too, with Weaver expressing dissatisfaction in regards to Ripley's characterization. However, the bones of the script would slowly morph into David Fincher's Alien 3. After the death of Ellen Ripley at the end of Alien 3, Fox had a difficult time deciding on their franchise's future. At first, Fox considered immediately walking back the events of 3 and dismissing it as Ripley's dream. We'll see that approach again later, but eventually they decided to simply move forward, and brought on then up-and-coming writer Joss Whedon. Set further in the future, the original Alien 4 would star an adult clone of Newt, the young child survivor of aliens killed off-screen in Alien 3. Your sheer outrage about that decision varying from fan to fan. Eventually, Fox decided that Ripley simply must return to the franchise, and Weaver was once again persuaded, with lots of money, to return. The result is Alien Resurrection, and in Whedon's original script, the third act was a gigantic final battle set on Earth. That didn't happen, and this movie is doo-doo. 1997's Alien Resurrection ends with the clone Ripley 8 and her surprisingly large band of surviving characters reach Earth after defeating the excessively disturbing newborn. And it was that setting that would be explored in a sequel if Resurrection writer Joss Whedon had his way. While that would have been a sharp break from traditional Alien plots, and a story that would finally fulfill Alien 3's tagline,
"On Earth, everyone can hear you scream."
A trailer line that was created to market a film that still didn't have a finalized plot at the time of the trailer's debut. But no one was really interested in Whedon making another Alien movie, including, surprise surprise, Sigourney Weaver, who was once again done with this franchise. As for whatever happened to Ripley 8, the Dark Horse comic Aliens vs. Predator vs. the Terminator takes place after Resurrection and sees Ripley and Android Call fight, well, aliens, predators, and Terminators. Ripley blows up. The poor financial performance of Resurrection caused Fox to cancel any immediate future plans for the series. But in 2002, Ridley Scott and James Cameron expressed interest in teaming up to continue the Xenomorph stories. Here, Cameron would write the script and Scott would direct. While little is known about the film's exact details, it would explore the origins of the Xenomorph, a story point Scott's seemingly been obsessed with for decades, and something we'll see inform many of the sequels to come. But Fox decided to make Alien vs. Predator first, which soured Scott and Cameron on making more Alien movies. After the end of the original Alien series with Resurrection, Fox decided to breathe life into both their Alien and Predator franchises by finally having the Alien vs. Predator crossover, which had started in Dark Horse Comics and made its way to several video games, become a movie. And while Paul W.S. Anderson's underground Ancient Alien story would debut in 2004, the original script for AVP was written all the way back in 1991 by Peter Briggs, and was largely based on the original Dark Horse AVP comic. And if you've read the comic, then you know the story already. The film, titled The Hunt, Alien vs. Predator, sees a predator named Broken Tusk send a xenomorph queen egg into a human colony to create an alien outbreak for he and his fellow predators to hunt, only to be overwhelmed by the chaos they've created. Soon, Broken Tusk is the only surviving predator, and teams up with human survivor Noguchi to kill the queen and stop the outbreak. By the end, the xenomorphs are exterminated. Broken Tusk has died, and Noguchi's skill has earned her so much respect that the Predators have her join their clan. However, development for AVP took so long that the script was scrapped, and eventually became the AVP seen in theaters, which still contains some elements of this original story. During the production of AVP Requiem, it's R because it's rated R, get it? Directors Colin and Greg Strauss were adamant that they would go on to make a third film in the series set in space and in the future. That's because this was the type of film they really wanted to make, and not Dawson's Creek meets Xenomorphs. At the end of AVP R, the Yutani Corporation comes into possession of Predator tech, and the Strauss' sequel would see the company use that tech to colonize space. That's cool and all, but the film takes place in Africa, I guess, because minerals there are used to fuel interstellar travel, and then maybe predators and aliens show up. Not much is known because Fox really didn't want to do more AVP movies after Requiem bombed both critically and commercially. Side note, have you seen Aliens vs. Predator Requiem? Oh, it's no wonder why this movie was never made. This thing makes the first AVP look like Alien. The failure of the AVP franchise and renewed interest by Ridley Scott to go back and explore the story behind the space jockey first seen in Alien led to writer Jon Spaihts writing what was originally known as Alien Engineers, and retitled at various points to Alien LV-426, Alien Genesis, and Alien Origins. Those are all bad titles. Like the eventually made Prometheus, Spaihts' script sees a team funded by the Weyland Corporation track a signal that leads them to the Engineers, who are responsible for humanity's evolution. However, this movie takes place on LV-426, the planet found in the original Alien, and here the xenomorphs are the Engineers' weapons, with a boneless beluga xenomorph and your classic xenomorphs picking off the crew one by one along with the more outright evil David android. The ensuing chaos leads to the destruction of the derelict ship and the chest-bursted space jockey found in Alien, as well as the potential for more sequels, with the threat of the Engineers looming. Spaihts' script would go on to be rewritten by Damon Lindelof and become Prometheus, that of the large dudes and goo, which would retain the general story but excise the direct connections to Alien in favor of an exploration of humanity's origin. In doing so, the starting point for Scott's new prequel franchise and the endpoint of the original Alien became further disconnected, leading to room for more sequels in between. But more on that in a minute. In 2015, writer-director Neil Blomkamp, remember Chappie, revealed concept art of a proposed Alien sequel that would bring back Sigourney Weaver in the role of Ellen Ripley, once again deciding she wasn't quite done with the franchise she'd quit at least twice before. But instead of being Alien 5, the movie would work as a replacement Alien 3, decanonizing David Fincher's film, Ripley's death, and all the silly clone stuff from Resurrection. An early progenitor of the decades later retconning sequel trend seen in movies like Halloween. While the concept art had at first been done by Blomkamp without Fox's involvement, the interest created on social media caused the studio to greenlight the movie. Plot details are slim, but Blomkamp's movie would have brought back an older Ripley, Hicks, and Newt, and positioned the adult Newt as the new lead of future movies. It's also clear that genetically altered, hybrid, and human-controlled xenomorphs would have played a major role. However, due to ongoing production on Scott's Prometheus series, Scott demanded the project be shut down to avoid intra-franchise competition. Alien 5 was paused, then fully shut down when Alien Covenant underperformed. At At the time of this video's release, Alien Covenant is the latest entry into the Alien franchise, but if Ridley Scott had to say, it would be far from the last. After Prometheus, Scott was clearly interested in making several more sequels until his prequel series directly connected to the original Alien. Just how many sequels that is changes depending on the year Scott is asked. Of course, this directly led to Covenant, but it's clear that Covenant's focus on xenomorphs wasn't his original intention, previously saying, "The beast is done. Cooked," when it came to Prometheus 2. Clearly, that didn't work out. Xenomorphs sell, giant pasty dudes don't. And around the time of Covenant's debut, Scott said the next film would be titled Alien Awakening, and maybe set between Prometheus and Covenant? You know, that portion of the story where they just said, it. And then Scott said he'd be making at least 3 further prequel films in the series, just slamming those bad boys out one after another. So yeah, that's not happening. The Disney purchase of Fox and the underperformance of Covenant at the box office has clearly stalled the future of the Alien franchise. First, Scott said the next Alien film may not connect at all to Covenant and Prometheus, and now those ideas have seemingly taken on a new life as a TV series that will be led by Scott and Noah Hawley. According to Disney, the series will be set on Earth in the not-too-distant future, which calls into question its place in the overall series, and whether Scott's plans on more sequels that would connect Covenant to the original Alien will be incorporated here. Will David be there? Will the engineers play a role? Just how much black goo can we expect? Guy Pearce and old man makeup? I'm just naming things now. In any case, if this trip through alternate Alien franchise history has shown us anything, it's that the world of the xenomorph is too compelling for both audiences and executives to leave untapped. For now, the Alien franchise lays dormant like a still buried chestburster. But these things can't stay asleep forever. Thanks for watching today's video. I thought it would be great to continue my off and on Unmade sequels series with a focus on Alien. I'm a huge Alien fan, and one of my first videos was about Alien and aliens. So it was great to be able to go back to the franchise with this focus. As you can see by watching this video, there are some insane ideas that were never made, but it is interesting to wonder what could have been if any of these had made it to the screen. Of all the ideas, I think I would have wanted to see the wooden monastery planet be made into a movie most of all. It sounds like the right kind of insane and is pretty different from your typical Alien movie. If you have your own Unmade sequel that you would have wanted to have seen made, let me know in the comments below. It was great to revisit the Alien franchise, and this will not be the last Aliens video that I do. I have a comic book in mind that I've been meaning to cover for a while, and I think I'll be doing more of these Unmade sequel videos in the near future. They're just a lot of fun to do, so I hope that you enjoy them too. As always, thank you to my patrons for their continued support. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, it's only $1 a month for early access to every video and some extras. I'll be back again soon with another video. Until then, I hope that you're taking care of yourself, staying safe, and looking out for one another. And also, don't put your face near any unknown weird eggs. Okay, see you again soon.